This is Jocko Podcast number 87 with Echo Charles and me, Jocko Willink. Good evening, Echo.
Good evening.
I'd been away from infantry and from the army I'd grown up in for far too long. Walking through the gates of Coleman Barracks was stepping into the welcome past. The old army had not died after all. The 18th was military perfection. Men stepped smartly across meticulously kept grounds. Starched uniforms, blue infantry scarves, dazzling shined brass and boots, snappy salutes, and cheerful good afternoon, sirs, marked my journey to the HQ where I'd sign in. The spirit of this fine unit was already infecting me. The hot, stifling, windless day, the ragweed pollen that blew in from adjacent fields covering the camp and immediately activating my hay fever. The run-down, boring camp itself, none of it mattered. As inwardly, I was transported to an island oasis untouched by turbulent seas. And it was all thanks to one man, the battle group commanding officer who would forever be my model, mentor, and friend. Colonel Glover S. Johns was the finest senior infantry commander I'd ever seen or ever would see again. We shared a mutual, abiding respect almost from the moment we met. He was my kind of soldier, and I was his. He was a warrior. Patton's aide before World War II. Then, during the war, he'd hit the beaches of Normandy as part of the 29th Division and fought from those bloody shores all the way across Europe until victory was achieved. As a battalion commanding officer, he'd headed the task force that captured the critical French town of Saint-Lô. In Korea, he'd served as executive officer, then regimental commander in my own 40th Division. His reputation there was awesome. One story that made its way through the division was that a wild new XO had come into the 224th, gotten down on his belly in the mud to check the unit's machine gun's field of fire, and promptly moved 2/3 of the machine gun bunkers that had sat there for 2 years. Later, when he took over as commanding officer of the 224th and the unit moved to a new sector, he'd outposted a spur about 200 yards in front of one of his companies so the North Koreans couldn't do it first. But this move was considered seizing ground and against the no-win rules of the war. And soon, the ex-corps commanding general flew down to John's position to discuss the matter with him. After examining the situation, General White told him he could keep the spur but was never to advance again, even his outpost line, without express permission from Corps. His blue eyes sparkled like those of a wise and truly tested man who'd long since realized that humor could be found in just about anything. He had seen his share of horror. His cheeks were rosy, and the dueling scar that crossed one of them in no way detracted from his rugged yet gentle old soldier face. Maybe the scar even enhanced it. I don't know, but it sure gave him more character and provided a good yarn to boot. In any event, Colonel Glover S. Johns was a 49-year-old stud. Colonel Johns was a basics man and a total soldier. He taught and insisted that his company commanders teach things like terrain appreciation, the knowledge of which was a basic tool of a soldier's trade, to be able to look at a piece of ground and appreciate the slightest differences in the contour, to notice how the ground unfolds and be able to think, there's cover over there. Cover. The one essential, providing protection from direct enemy fire. To recognize a streamline, a gully, or a treed area as an avenue of approach through which a unit could move unseen. To understand and identify the best ground from which to launch or repel an attack. Shoot, scoot, and communicate. The morning battle drill began with fire and maneuver, one man firing while his buddy moved. A fire team moving while its counterpart fired. Colonel Johns likened it to a fighter's bobbing, weaving, and jabbing. We kept the mythical enemy pinned down while we jabbed our way to close on his position. That's cover and move, by the way. Mm-hmm. The colonel was right there with us to set the example. And we did it. Until we got it right. We'd end up black and blue, running, hitting the ground, and rolling into firing position with full field equipment on is not without pain. But no one bitched because Johns again and again reinforced the simple equation. The quicker you get to the ground and you get your weapon into position, the sooner you'll be delivering effective fire on the enemy and the longer you'll stay alive. Still, this truism was just one part of the overall strive to better your best philosophy that characterized the first of the 18th under Colonel Johns and Deputy Commanding Officer Couch. In Couch's words, it was our policy to encourage excellence among the soldiers, particularly in bayonet training, unarmed combat, shooting, and total physical fitness. This is what really makes a soldier. If he masters these subjects, he'll fight. From my experience in Korea, I could not have agreed more. So, that's a little opener from a book called About Face. Sure. My favorite book. It's written by Colonel David Hackworth, and he's talking about a guy that was his commander in the early 1960s. Hackworth had gotten out of the Army and then came back in after a couple of years because he realized civilian life was not fun. Sure. And so he came back in and he got stationed in Germany. And this guy by the name of Colonel Glover S. Johns, who, by the way, Hackworth dedicates the book to infantrymen and to some other soldiers that he worked with along the way, but to Glover Johns, he says, dedicates this book to Glover Johns, who showed us how to lead.